to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning. We'll open the meeting with public comment. Is there any public comment? I do have a letter I received from, in an email form from Earl and Cheryl Campbell. Commissioner Delger, first I have a medical appointment I can't change or I would be at the next Commissioners meeting January 6, 2020. Second, as a citizen of Broadwater County, I'm requesting you not nominate nor vote for Commissioner Obert to be the chairman of the Broadwater Commission for the calendar year 2020. There has been no further information forthcoming from either the Gallatin County Attorney M. Lambert or Broadwater County Attorney Corey Swanson. So I am left to assume the referral for office for official misconduct that has been lodged against Mrs. Obert to be unresolved. Official misconduct in Montana is a felony, and I don't want a chairman in control of the meetings that is under the investigation for that charge. Electing her as chairman would be gross disservice to the citizens of this county. I request you read this into the minutes, and I further request your very careful and thoughtful consideration to your action will be appreciated. Sincerely, Cheryl Campbell. Yeah, Shirley.
Good morning. I'm Shirley Wilson. I just have a question or two. We've been listening to lots and lots and lots of regulations and do's and don'ts about subdivisions, and I was just curious, are there any rules and regulations, do's and don'ts or whatever for feedlots in the county? As where's your water supply? What are you going to do with the waste material? Are you accessible year-round by truck? I'm just curious. I think it's something, if it's not been looked into, it needs to be.
I don't know that there's anything in our regulations, but in view of what Cascade County is going through, I'm thinking that that's probably, it's probably restricted by zoning, which we don't have any zoning.
Correct. So maybe I look at that or something, I don't know.
So I would guess that if you're gonna try to impose something, you need to impose some zoning.
And that's up to you, correct?
I would think so, but I would think that if the processes are,
If the process is already started, you're SOL, but.
I believe that's exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
And I don't know, did the dairy go through anything?
No. Zoning would be citizen-driven, or it can be, or commission-driven, so it can go either way.
Okay.
Okay, all right, thank you.
I
I
would
don't really
like
have any
to-
comments. I got two requests. One of them is we received a bunch of firearms through a 1033 program through Department of Defense here, gosh, a long time ago. We've never even fired those things. They're the old Korean War vintage M4s, the 308s. We have been holding them because the military didn't want to take them back. And so we finally got them to take those things back. And I do need, and I was going to see if somebody who likes to play with guns could be a certifier. We have to have somebody who's not part of our office to come over, verify that that gun, the right paperwork's with it. We had to buy boxes and chamber flags and everything else, but we needed two people. And so I was going to see if Corey Swanson would be one, and if maybe Commissioner Fulford or yourself or somebody could be the other one, just to verify that that paperwork is with that firearm, and then it can be sealed up and mailed back. That was one of the things that I needed. The other one, I have a MOU from the state. I haven't got a chance to read it completely, and I think it might be something for discussion as regards to an upgrade to the dispatch consoles, in that the state wants to take over authority of that system under the legislative bill, and I can't remember that off the top of my head, that occurred in the 19th session, but they will do the upgrades. They will do the upgrades to the dispatch consoles that we just upgraded already here a couple years ago, but they were going to redo all that. They will do that at no cost for 10 years, but I haven't had a chance to really dive into that. I do have a little bit of a little crook in my neck about signing over authority of something that the county has been working towards for so long over to somebody else under stipulations. So I need to look at that a little bit, but it does have a signature line for commission if you guys want to sign on to that. If you don't, it's not required. If you want to, you can. So he just put it on there because he said some of the counties, the commissioners have requested to sign it and some haven't. So he just threw it on there in case. So if that's something that needs to be an agenda item, I guess that's the question I do ask. If that's what you want to do, I can get it. I can email it out to you guys. You guys can read it, and then if you want to put it on the agenda, we put it on the agenda. If you don't, that's fine. Either or. But Brandon had a conversation with him, and then Brandon went off to Orange Beach, Alabama, and partaked in the sunshine and festivities. So hopefully when he comes back, I'm hoping tomorrow, he will be able to give me some details of his conversation with those folks, so I kind of know which way to proceed. But that's kind of what I had. So if you guys are good with that, I'll send it out to you, and you guys review it and let me know. Does that sound reasonable?
Right.
Okay.
And if you want me to come help you verify those weapons, I can do that.
Okay, that'd be great.
Just let me know, maybe this afternoon if you want to.
Well, Jamie's here too, and so I know, like I said, we've been trying to get rid of these things for the last, gosh, I bet probably, I know I've been trying to get rid of them since I became under sheriff's office, 2011.
Sure.
So, they won't, we tried to give them to the Legion, we've tried to give them to other agencies, and it's like, once you get them, they're just like, they're yours, but you can't really do much with them, so, yeah, so.
Okay. After our meeting today, I'll just get together then. Okay?
I will get Sergeant Buck on that, so,
Okay.
thank you.
Thanks, Gwen. Did you have a COS, Brenda?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
This is a boundary location for Charlotte Reagan. I think you're familiar with the house was built north of the property. So what they did was move the boundary to include the house, the corrals, and the well, since it wasn't built on the property where they wanted it anyways. And here's their exemption form.
I will move to support the boundary relocation as presented for the Reagan property.
I'll second the motion.
Motion been made and seconded to approve the Charlotte Reagan Family Trust boundary relocation. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Bernadette.
Brenda. Go on to the 10 o'clock, elect presiding officer, vice chair, adopt public policy, process policy commission meeting agendas, open meeting policy, accept petition to create utility position. That is there open up the nomination for presiding officer for 2020.
Well, Mike, you've done it for 2 years in a row. You want to continue on?
If no one else wants to, I will.
I'll leave that up to you.
One thing I will bring up is there is a rotation. You guys can vote however you want, but there is a rotation, and it works in counties in two different ways. One is every commissioner serves as chair either their 3rd and 6th years or their 5th and 6th years. Getting into that kind of a rotation, it kind of makes everybody, puts everybody knowing what to expect. We got off rotation, and that's how Mike ended up with 2 years. Not either his 3rd and 6th or 5th and 6th.
Yes, Tim?
Mr. Chair, Commissioners, just a real quick question. Thank you, Commissioner Overt, on bringing that up on the rotation. My question is that under statute or is that a policy that's adopted by Mako counties, et cetera, et cetera?
I think it's just a policy that was adopted by the county, whether it is not, I don't know.
It's recommended by Mako and then adopted by the counties. I don't know that it's in the MCA.
Okay, that's what I just wanted, because I did not have a chance to look into that for sure, but that's a question that are being asked. Thank you.
I guess with that, I guess that I would nominate Commissioner Obert for the chair, simply for the reasons, for a number of reasons. Number one, it's the rotation. I think that rotation is important. The other part is we got out of the rotation when I came on, and the person who was serving for the chair was not exactly the ideal person to follow as far as rules and regulations of running a meeting or how meetings were conducted. Unfortunately, that's kind of the way that I have followed in some processes with the way I run meetings. I wouldn't say that I've done a bad job, but I don't think that I've done an extremely good job. And I think that to be fair to the commission that's coming on, or the commissioners that are here, is to have an example that's a little more probably restrained in the way that I run meetings, probably a little more aligned with Robert's Rule of Orders. And that's pretty much my reason for nominating Commissioner Obert. Is there a second?
Did you have a comment, Tim?
I don't want to be out of order, Mr. Chair. I just want to ask the question again, if I may, but I can wait. It's up to you.
Go ahead, Tim.
Okay, again, this is very important as we move forward. As a citizen, been following Broadwater County for many years, many cycles of these seats being filled. We have had that issue of open meeting debate. We have had that issue of exceeding the authority. It's gone to court. We've got that locked in on the people demanding a transparent, accountable local government. I'm not here to look at beating on anybody. I'm not here to look for a fight. I'm looking to expand on what you have done, Commissioner Delger, in opening this up to transparency in a more relaxed atmosphere where the people can feel comfortable and the public trust is not violated. That's where we have gotten to in over many years of decline, and I'm hoping that we can continue moving forward with that. Commissioner Delger, I compliment you in going back to the community that we have really been brought up in here in Broadwater County. We are neighbors and we want to work together, and you've really gone a long ways with going forward with that. The letter that was read during Commission open public comment this morning certainly does have merit to be considered. Again, we have a court case that was decided, we have an Attorney General case that's been rendered, we have now a pending, who knows, it may not be nothing, but we need to be careful not to be making the same mistakes over and over. That's the definition of insanity, and I hope that we do not go there. My last part of this, on this, and I will go sit down and be quiet as a citizen, are nominations open to the public? If they are, that also should be considered in this process. In my experience, I've never seen that happen, but I think it is part of the Roberts rules of affording the public participation, which comes back to Article 2, Sections 8 and 9. So if you would, Mr. Chair, please keep that into consideration, and Commissioner Delger and Mr. Fulford, please keep that in mind as you move forward. Even though, and I will end here, even though Commissioner Fulford is new on the board, doesn't have the tenure, if you will, experience, that man has done more of doing 1/3 of the job on this commission than I've seen in a long time, stepping up to the plate to take that responsibility, and I commend you, Mr. Wolford. Therefore, with that said, if possible, as a citizen, I would nominate Commissioner Fulford to run this show into the 2020 cycle.
Thank you. Is there any other comments?
Can that question be answered about public nominations?
I haven't. Not since I've been here, it hasn't been considered at all.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
The statute, and I don't know that I can find it in the next few minutes, but it does state that and it's in our New Year's resolution handout, if either of you have that, but it does state that the commission shall determine a presiding officer.
Just from the board itself, right?
Yeah.
Remember right, I read that.
This is the commissioner's board, it's not a public board.
Yeah.
It has public, people are welcome to come and make their statement, but it is your meeting and your board.
We can find that, but I don't know that I will find it in the next couple minutes. Yeah, you can find it, share it after, but that's what it is. It does say that's what practice has been as well. As far as accusations go, I'm not going to address any of those, but I will say that when anybody is accused of anything, they are innocent until proven guilty. None of that has happened. So, Darrell, I would like to hear if you're going to second Mike's nomination and motion.
Thanks, Tim, for putting all that pressure on me.
You know, I feel that there would be no problem with you being chairman of the board. I really don't. I guess my only concern that I need to think about is if it's going to invite more controversy on us than we've had in the past.
a second then?
I mean, I would have preferred it to have more, another year under my belt to tackle something like this, and maybe that's the best thing for me to do, is to gain that experience, so. I'll second that nomination.
The motion's been made and seconded to approve Commissioner Obert as the new chair. I would like to make one comment here. Being stuck in the same position that Darrell is in right now, when I first came on as chair, was I think it's overrated what the chair, you know, the power of the commission is not the chair, the power of the commission is the commission. The chair has certain rights and responsibilities, but it doesn't outweigh or override the position of the other two commissioners. And I think that it would be very beneficial to the county in the future, and also beneficial to Darrell to maybe have that example of a stricter procedural person. So maybe when it does become his turn, then he has the experience of both the loose rein that I've probably had and also a stricter, more procedural person, so you can settle somewhere in the middle instead of starting out with a wide range of disruptiveness and then continuing in a mediocre fashion the same way. So I think it's a much better idea for the county. And also, I think it will be a benefit to Commissioner Folkford. With that being said, we'll have a vote. Yes, Wayne?
Before you get too carried away, you know, I can appreciate exactly what you're saying. I think that in government, in local government right now, we find ourselves in positions that are uncomfortable. Being the chair, you know, I'm the vice president of several organizations, I'm president of one, chairman of others. I can understand that. You made a very unique point in your statement, though, Mike, and that was that the power does not fall within the chair. The power does not fall within one commissioner. It's a board. It's the entire board of county commissioners that has the authority to make change. However, I'm going to ask this. As we start 2020, we move into a new decade and a new time in our lives, that is exactly what happens. Because what I have seen is that there's decisions being made within county government made by one person and not the entire board. So before you get too overzealous about that, about making a vote, let's make sure that that's the statute that we're going to go down. That's a path that we're going to walk. If we're going to put the power of the board, then keep the power of the board and stop letting one person make decisions. Because that has happened entirely too often. And I think that Darrell, with the look on your face, you understand exactly what I'm saying. Okay? So it's all good and dandy to say that in the presence of folks in a public meeting, but this is where we put the rubber to the road. And we put our money where our mouth is. If we're going to make it a board, and the board's going to make a decision, then the entire board makes a decision, not just one. Is that a fair request? As an elected official in this county, I would expect that. And I'm tired of getting things done that's been one-sided, you know. Because there's times where I've had conversations with you didn't know what the hell I was even talking about, nor did Darrell or what have you. So if it's going to be the board making decisions, then that's the way that it needs to be done, not just one. And if that can't happen, then I would ask that you not go down that path that you're on. That's all I have to say.
Tim?
I apologize, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. I said I was done, but I do have to add one more point here, if you will indulge me for just another second. I brought up the fact that we do have on record in not only court, but with the Attorney General. This is not speculation, and this is not a potential, maybe, could be, who knows. I'm speaking directly of that. Number two, it was just made a comment a couple of minutes ago that this is your board and that you make these decisions, and that in, maybe not in direct language, but what I personally heard was that this is not a public board. I caught all BS on that, because this is an executive branch of our local government under the Constitution in the state of Montana, a subdivision of the state, working for the people. It is totally 100% public board, and so therefore, if you're using policy to eliminate the public from a process, a decision-making process, that, I guess I can go ahead and say it again, is a direct violation of Article 2, Sections 8 and 9. With that, I will echo our sheriff's concerns to make sure that we don't go down the same path and we just gotta move forward. And I'm, like you folks, I'm really tired of it. And I'm hoping that we can continue moving forward, as I said a few minutes ago, and that's up to you guys to make sure that we don't go down that path and not go backwards. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I do have the MCA, so I'll go ahead and read that. It's MCA 74-2109, presiding officer report. The Board of County Commissioners must elect one of its members presiding officer. The presiding officer shall preside at all meetings of the board, and in case of the presiding officer's absence or inability to act, the members present shall select one of their number to act temporarily as presiding officer.
Thank you, Commissioner.
You're welcome.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that number on the statute again, please? I didn't get a chance, right?
75-2109.
Pardon?
75-2109.
Actually, it's 74-2109.
Was it 74?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Any further discussion or comments? Vote, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say. Motion carries.
Do you want me to take over now? Is that why you gave me that?
Yes.
All right. It's been practiced, it's not in MCA, that we also elect a vice chair. That way, if the chair is not available, there's no surprises. Do you guys want to continue that?
Yes.
All right, then on the agenda, we have elect a vice chair. Is there a nomination?
I would nominate Darrell.
Carol, would you like to second the nomination? All right, it's been moved and seconded to elect Darrell, the vice chair of the Broadwater County Commission. All those in favor, please signify. Public comment? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. All right, next we have adopt the public process policy. This book has been in the clerk and recorder's office all week, and it has all the documents for today's meeting. Anyone is welcome to go up there, copy the documents, and bring them down to the meeting if you would like. These were also mailed out, emailed out, and have been documents that we have done every year, the first meeting of January. So the Broadwater County Public Process Policy. Any questions? If you could come up to the podium, Lynn. Any questions from the public?
I just want to make sure that, is that the email that, with the times?
No, we have 5 to do today, that was one of them.
No, that's not, with the times
That's
that
a
are open?
resolution.
Oh, okay,
Right.
so that's a different one?
That is
Okay.
correct.
I was just trying to find which email it was, so, okay.
And that hasn't changed from last year, right? Or-
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's the same as we adopted last year, right?
And after a first and a second, then we'll take any further public comment.
I'll second.
We do not have a first yet. Would you first it?
First, I'll first it.
All right.
And then I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to adopt the Broadwater County, or reaffirm the Broadwater County Public Process Policy. Public comment. Tim, would you please
Thank you,
state your name for
Madam
the
Chair.
record?
Real quick,
Would you
I
please
would like
state your
to
name
ask,
for the record?
Tim Ravendall.
Thank you.
I would like to ask for clarification. You know, we have 4 items scheduled on the agenda for 10 o'clock. They are kind of running into totally different issues on the agenda. For example, I'll just go with the one we're on right now, which we go right out of the open meeting policy to a petition to create a TED. And it's really hard for me, who has been following our process, to even follow really what's going on here. And I guess my question, I think I heard, but maybe I want to make sure, is there any changes to this public process policy that is being adopted now as moved? If so, I would really like to know what changes are being made. If not, just confirm that there are no changes from last year. That way we know we're not talking about a new policy.
Earl, I think you just asked that question,
I did.
did you not? Would you please address Tim?
Yeah, I did just ask that question, and the policy remains the same as last year's.
Okay, thank you.
Any further public comment? All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you. Next, we have the Broadwater County Commission meeting agenda and open meeting policy. And this is what hangs on the bulletin boards around the courthouse. Is also required by MCA. And I would accept a motion to approve. It is also the same as last year and has been in the clerk and recorder's office.
And again, this one has not been changed either, right?
That is correct. Updated, but not changed.
Right.
What's the difference? Madam Chairman?
We'll take public comment as soon as we have a first and a second.
I'll move that we approve the Broadwater County Commission meeting agenda and open meeting policy.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Sorry, we'll take public comment. Shirley, please state your name for the record.
Shirley Wilson. What's the difference between update and change? If you update it, don't you change it?
Last year, it stated it was 2019. This year, it's 2020.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for the question. Any other public comment? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. This one is stapled, but we can still sign it. now we have the petition to create the TED. And did you get a chance to verify the signatures? There was an email conversation.
I did not.
Okay.
We could verify one signature for sure, the other two we had nothing on them, and so I personally could not verify them.
Okay. All right, so what we'll do is postpone that until next week, if it's good with you guys. We do have an avenue, and we do have a email conversation. I don't think we need to spend any more time on that. So we'll just postpone that till next week.
Is there a timeline schedule on that, as far as the TED itself is concerned?
As far as the TED goes, there is, we need to get that done. As far as verifying the signatures, what we can do is, when that comes up, is adopt pending verification of the signatures. What we have is one person who's not on the voter registration, so there isn't something to verify, and he's willing to come in with a driver's license to prove his identity. And the other one changed his signature. The reason is with the business he was signing 50 checks a day and needed a quicker signature. He didn't even think about changing his voter's registration signature, and he's also willing to come in with an ID. So based on that information, I think that will be easily done. With the holidays, I think that got delayed. So if we could have them do that this week, would that suffice, Ann, for verifying? Okay. So as long as that was done, then we would have the motion be able to move forward, but we could go ahead and move now pending, as long as that's in the motion, if that makes sense.
Yep.
All right, so we will close this regularly scheduled commission business meeting and open a public hearing. Hearing is to adopt resolutions establishing regular meeting dates of the county commission, establish hours of operation for the county offices, and establish mileage, lodging, and per diem rates for business travel. So the first resolution, I'm not going to read this verbatim, it's been in the clerk and recorder's office in this notebook. But basically it is also unchanged from last year and establishes that commission business meetings will be Mondays, 10 o'clock, unless otherwise advertised. So to the first resolution, establishing regular meeting dates of the Broadwater County Commission. Is there public comment? Please state your name for the record.
Tim Ravendall, resident, Broadwater County. I mentioned earlier at this meeting regarding the agenda, and I personally, and I think you folks may have had a lot of the same similar calls regarding the process here on hearings. We've had that debate at this room over several different issues where, well, does it require a hearing or does it not? Does it require a notice, does it not? The problem that we keep hearing, and I keep hearing personally, is a good example of what's on the agenda for today. We're having a hearing for public comment at 10 o'clock in the morning on Monday. A lot of people cannot make these meetings on Mondays, so therefore they're not here. There is, certainly life gets in the way of this kind of process for a lot of people. What is really problematic in public participation is the decision is made immediately after the hearing and bringing the subject up where a lot of people don't even know that it's on the table until it's on the agenda. So I'm not sure if you folks are willing to look at making a little bit more of a spread between having the public involved in this process and making a decision, but I think it would be beneficial to the public trust. Thank you very much.
Is there any other public comment? All right, the second resolution is...
Well, can I mention one thing? I think one thing that changed there was some of the places we may hold our meetings.
That didn't, but...
We added the county annex, didn't we?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Just in case that happens or when that happens.
Right.
Yeah. The second one is a resolution establishing hours of operation for Broadwater County offices. This was sent out to the particular offices mentioned, and there are no changes. Is there any public comment? Public comment? All right, the third one is a resolution establishing mileage, lodging, and per diem rates for Broadwater County businesses. Two changes to this one from last year. What we do is we follow the state. It makes it easier for us. Did remove the word travel and put in county for business. Instead of business travel, this is county business. And did include a whereas that states charges exceeding the allowable mileage, lodging, and per diem rates will not be reimbursed by county funds. And this is to keep people within the per diem rates and to keep them from submitting a claim that exceeds what the county or the state pays. And it's for business, not just business travel.
And I see where the mileage has changed to 57.5 cents instead of 58.
Correct. We don't put the numbers here
Right.
because that can change at any time.
I'm just kind of, for everybody's information.
Sure. Is there any public comment on that? Public comment? All right, we will close this public hearing and move to a decision. We have a decision to adopt the resolution establishing regular meeting dates of the county commission. This has been advertised via a legal ad. It's also been in the newspaper, and it has been available in the clerk and recorder's office for the last week. Is there a motion to approve the first resolution?
I'll make the motion to approve the first resolution.
No, I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt a resolution establishing regular meeting dates of the Broadwater County Commission. Is there any public comment? Public comment? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. If I can get your John Hancocks. Okay, we have the resolution establishing hours of operation. Is there a motion to approve?
I will move that we accept the resolution for establishing hours of operation for Broadwater County offices.
I'll second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt the resolution establishing hours of operation for Broadwater County offices. Is there any public comment? Public comment? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Pass that back to you.
If I may, Madam Chair,
No, Tim, we'll take public comment here in just a few minutes.
I just wanted to, I missed a chance here, and I was gonna try and catch in on that, where you were just at, not changing the agenda.
Here we have a resolution establishing mileage, lodging, and per diem rates for Broadwater County business. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion to approve the per diem rates.
I will second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt the resolution establishing mileage, lodging, and per diem rates for Broadwater County. Is there any public comment? Public comment?
I'm not sure where to start.
Sure, man.
Stop here.
State your name for the record.
I did, sure. I was just curious, and I haven't seen anything, did the out-of-state per diem change? Or did that stay the same?
I don't know, but if the state follows that, that's what we'll follow too.
Okay, so
That's
that's.
established here.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think there's a provision there too, when if you happen to go to an area where it's, you know, way more expensive than normally the.
Well, and I did see where Chantel had sent some stuff out, and I just couldn't remember off the top of my head where those were at, but I know like you get somewhere in Whitefish, or I even think Kalispell, or if you get down in that West Yellowstone area for something down there, they have a difference. So I just didn't know, I remember the mileage thing, that stuck in my mind. I just didn't know if there was anything directly in that off the top of my head that I just couldn't remember. So if we're just sticking with what the state has recommended put out, that's what I was questioning. So thank you.
Any other public comment? Public comment. All right, all those in favor of the resolution, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. All right, next we will close this regularly scheduled county business meeting, open a public hearing. The purpose of this public hearing is to adopt a resolution establishing the Wheatland Water and Sewer District for certain properties and certify appointment to the Board of Directors for such district. Again, I won't read this verbatim. We are following MCA 713-2208, 2231, and 2233 with the TED process and the water sewer district. Does anybody have any public comment?
Madam Chair, Tim Ravendall, point of clarification. Just earlier in this meeting, it was tabled regarding a petition to create a district, and yet you're holding a hearing to make that happen. It seems like the cart's getting back in front of the horse. Maybe I misunderstand that, but that's what it looks like from out here.
Thank you, Tim. No, we did not table anything. We postponed verification of petition signatures. We did not postpone our table. This creation of the TED district we can move forward with, and we can move forward with the appointments of the Board of Directors, pending verification of the signatures as stated before. And we will submit the email string as part of the record, public record. Any further public comment?
Wow.
Public comment? All right, we will close this public hearing and return to our regularly scheduled county business meeting. We have a decision to adopt the resolution establishing Wheatland Water and Sewer District for certain properties and certify appointment of Board of Directors for such district. Is there a motion to approve, again, pending verification of signatures?
I guess I'm not aware of the time frame that we have to complete this resolution. Is there one? I wasn't aware of that.
I don't know that there is one for us.
Yeah.
There is one for the business. They can't do anything until they have authorization that they can move forward. They did present this to us some weeks ago, and unfortunately that got delayed. So what we're doing is trying to catch up so that they can proceed.
Right.
And they were unaware of the signature issues, which is, according to the emails, we can certainly read those if you want,
Right. I remember
easily
reading them.
rectified.
I guess I just would feel better if we have this part of the process completed before we move on to the next.
My Mike, would you also like to wait, or would you like to proceed to honor Bridger Brewing?
We can adopt the resolution for the water and sewer district, but we can't certify the appointment of board of directors, right? So can we go ahead and separate the two?
We can. Mhm.
I would be in favor of adopting a resolution to establish, but table the certification of appointment of board of directors of the district.
Would you be good with that?
I'm good with that.
Okay. So it's been moved and seconded to adopt the resolution to create the water and sewer district and postpone the appointment of the board of directors for such district pending the verification of the signatures as presented. Is that okay for a friendly amendment?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Public comment?
One more
Public
time,
comment?
Tim Ravendall. Thank you, Madam Chair. For clarification, this water and sewer district, I'm not sure exactly where the boundaries are, if they mirror the original discussions that were held in this meeting on the creation of the economic development district. And if so, that's fine, just need to confirm that. And then also, there's another part of that whole process that was brought up at this meeting several times in the creation of the economic district, which some of the landowners within that district were concerned about how that was going to impact their property rights as far as when they are not necessarily part of that temporary district, or however the term is. I use the wrong words, but if you understand my question. Are these been very transparent? And I guess if you would maybe just give a quick summary of where this sewer and water district is in conjunction to the Wheatland area, and how that has been decided on the boundaries, etc.
The decision, Tim, is actually made by people within the district. So this is within the district. The legal description has been in the clerk and recorder's office all week, and we have it here. You are certainly
With no
welcome.
public
come
availability
on
here,
up to
Madam
the-
Chair.
come on
There's
up to
nothing
the
on the
podium.
table here, and a lot of people don't go to that clerk and recorder's
Tim,
office looking for information.
we're gonna have
They're looking
civility.
for it. So I
Okay.
stand in lack of civility there. I'm trying.
Shirley, do you have a comment? Public comment?
I do. I have a question about motions that are made pending future decisions. I'm not sure that that needs to be in the motion, I'm not sure. So how do we know what happened after the pending's over? We don't know. Because if we pass this motion, if you pass this motion pending verification of signatures, so does the public know that the signatures were verified, when they were verified, if they were verified? Do we make a motion then when they are verified to complete the action? This pending thing, I'm not so sure we need to go there. It's just my opinion. We in the public are not sure of the result. We listen to you make motions pending action, but we're not aware that the action ever happened. Thank you.
Thank you, Shirley. 100% of what we do is in the full view of the public. There's nothing we do as individuals or commissioners that is not in full view of the public. So you can rest assured and sleep well at night. You can know that those signatures will come forward in a public meeting, and it will be verified that they were verified for moving forward. So thank you very much for your comment.
In the past, that
any-
has not
You can come
happened.
up to the podium for any follow-up. Thank you. Any other public comment? All right. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
I'd like to make a comment, though. As far as for creating this water and sewer district, that's something that's required. And the people that are in this district have the option to be a part of the water sewer district or not. So it's not impacting their rights by any means. they're making that decision whether they want to be in the district or not. And so if they do, they will pay their fees just like everybody else and be a part of the district.
Thank you.
So I think what we'll do is have signatures on this resolution, and we will attach the emails regarding the signatures, and then attach the minutes until we come back to cover the second half. I expect that'll be done next Monday.
Can I ask a silly question?
Here's those emails. Hang on just a minute, Lynn.
I was just in regards to this sewer, or water sewer thing. It's just clarify. So, no issues. So in regards to,
Hang on just a minute. Also, you know what, I think I'll keep the originals until we get that done. You have a copy, right? Okay. All right. Public comment, Lynn?
yeah, just a real quick question. In regards to, because it just on a comment that Commissioner Folker made, people can opt in or opt out, correct?
That's correct.
So is that something that if they choose to opt out at this time, that they get, is it, you get one shot, do you get to opt in and then opt out later, or can you, I guess that's the question, if they opt in, can they choose to opt out at a later point? And in the same breath as if they opt out, can they opt in later?
Yeah, actually they can, because there's actually a couple businesses that have chose to opt out at this point.
Okay, I'm just curious, I mean, it was, it was one of those that, I guess there's probably some reluctancy, I would imagine, with an unknown that people are kind of going, maybe I don't know if I want to get too far down this path, but
That's exactly the reason.
hopefully, if it's something comes to fruition that they go, hey, that looks a little better than what I thought it did, I want to opt in, I just didn't know. So, how it is, I don't want to get in the middle of that argument with somebody going, well, why didn't I get this opportunity? So, but thank you for clarifying, I appreciate that.
Thanks, Lynn. Next on the agenda is open silos master plan bids. So what we'll do is we will just open these today, and then we will have a committee that will go through them and make a selection. So we have a proposal from RPA, Robert Petchin Associates. We had a certain dollar amount, so I'm not going to go through and get the dollar amount because that's already established. Second is from Sanderson Stewart.
Where are they from?
Bozeman.
Okay.
And this box was not opened by Ann. Or anyone else that we know of. But it did look like it was cut. And that one is from DHM Design. And where they are from is Bozeman as well. Any public comment about these? Come on up to the podium.
Tim Ravenel, Broadwater County citizen. You say there's a committee that's going to review these. Who's on that committee? what's the time frame for how you're going to bring this back before the commission for decision on who is going to be accepted as implementing that plan? And then, I don't hear real well, so I think I heard you say that the prices is already established or not established. We'd like to know what we're talking about as far as dollars for putting this plan together. If that's not coming until later, understand, because it has to be reviewed, but at the same token, public knowledge of what's going on and what's being spent is pretty essential. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. This has been discussed quite a few times in public meetings. The total cost is $90,000, and we are lucky and blessed to have BOR anteing up half of that, $45,000. The bulk, or the match, was actually a result of a citizens group going to different groups around the community. So this is community driven, and the total is $90,000. These designs may have the total of $90,000, or they may be slightly under. As far as the committee, we'll be setting that up. We can do that right now if you guys would like. I think we should ask BOR. I think we should ask a member of the citizens group. And I think we should put it to the chairs and the lead of the agency, chair of that citizens group, and see who they would like to send to us. I also think we should have our community development coordinator involved. Anybody else you guys think of? Maybe also the rec board if they're
I was
interested.
thinking the rec board might have their input.
Okay, so if it's good with you guys, we can just send emails today and
Sure.
ask if they're interested and set up a day maybe later on this week. Does that work?
Will there be a commissioner on that committee then or not?
I think it should be 3
I think it
commissioners,
should be
yeah.
all of us, yeah.
And then what we'll do is advertise it as a working meeting.
Okay.
All right. Anything else on the silos master plan? Okay, we will move on to establishing billing schedule for the county annex bills. We talked about this in our working meeting, about dividing up the building by square footage for the meeting space, and putting that out to whatever entity it is that's using the space, and then also asking either the hospital district or the BHC to pay the ambulance area. I would suggest until we get the different offices moved over there that we just cover it, and also put together a plan, a letter for the ambulance service. Are you guys good with that? We can also wait on that till Billings Clinic gets everything finalized. Might be easier on everybody.
Okay.
You guys good with that?
I'm good with that, yeah.
Okay. So, I would suggest maybe just out of PILT, pay those bills until we get that figured out,
Yeah.
everybody moved, okay. And so there's record in the minutes. Could I have a motion and a second to pay those until everything gets solidified, people moved over, and the signatures with Billings Clinic done, that we will pay the heating and electric bills and city bills from PILT?
See how I want to phrase it. I guess we'll move that we pay the utility bills for the new county annex from PILT funds until we've established the appropriate square footages for the offices using that building.
I will second that.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to wait until we have the renovations done, offices moved and settled in, and the agreement with Billings Clinic and BHC, and in the meantime, pay those bills with PILT. I didn't say it nearly as eloquent as you did. I should have written down what you said. So, any public comment? Public comment? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Okay, finance will like us for that one. The meeting room plan. Do you guys have, Daryl, you brought this forward. Did you want to speak to it at all?
Well, I think that was just a suggestion. I remember the fellow's name, offhand, from Office Supply. Anyway, he made this suggestion as to a format that we could start for our new meeting space over there. And just looking for ideas. I guess when we had our working meeting, when we talked about some ideas of where we would possibly like to have a projector or things like that, and I think we want to do our configuration that would benefit that. I guess some of the discussion is on the types of tables and chairs that we'd like to have there. I guess in my mind they need to be something that's easy for everybody to use, because not everybody can break down those tables and store them. When we're having regular commission meetings, it'll probably just be chairs. When we have trainings and when the extension is using it, they'll probably want to use the tables, I'm guessing, for their projects. So, whatever we decide on, we want to make it easy for everybody to use. And also, Mike, I think you mentioned that you were going to talk to someone locally on
I
on the
contacted Dan Herringfield this morning, and he would be interested in giving us a bid on this table.
Okay,
And I figured the table and the podium,
okay, yeah,
because the rest of the stuff I think we can get, if we need to go buy chairs,
right,
we can go to the state surplus.
right,
On these tables, I think we can pick them up for pretty cheap too.
yeah.
Yeah.
The issue with the tables is, where are we gonna store them when we're not using?
Well, that was it, and I guess we talked about there to the side there, that would be maybe possibly be a table storage. I don't know if that's the perfect solution.
Yeah.
But one of the tables we discussed was, they call them the flip table. They were on wheels, so that they fold down and can be easily rolled aside. Then when we need them, you just flip the tops back up, rather than the type that have to be broke down each time. So I guess we can discuss the benefits of those options and costs when that time comes. I guess for now, we're just looking to see if that was a configuration that everybody agreed on. If so, then we would go forward.
My only comment on that would be, I think we need 4 at the front.
Yeah,
There's just 3 there.
right.
And then with the tables, I wouldn't be at all opposed to the Costco ones that fold up.
Mhm.
They're extremely inexpensive, lightweight, easily stored. They fold up to a very small footprint. Yeah, you're going to have to replace them from time to time. I don't know how often they're going to be used. I don't think they're going to be used all that often. So going very inexpensive, I think, is a good option.
Sure.
And they're not going to be out used all the time, so it doesn't matter that they don't match.
Okay.
But I like Daniel giving a bid. He does good work, great work. Any other thoughts then?
So, on that bid that we had from the prison, that's for solid wood, so we want to tell him we want solid wood. Regardless of whether it's oak or whatever he wants to make it out of.
We need to make a apples to apples comparison.
Okay.
Not necessarily. If he could do something else, and I know he works in wood, so I would imagine it would be solid wood for that apples to apples. But if he could do something that is quality and perhaps not solid wood, I don't know what he would use. I would like a comparison that is maybe, if he wants to do something different, we could weigh how we think it'll last and a different price. I don't think we need to only limit ourselves to solid wood. I think we could say whatever you want to do. And we are not obligated to take just the least expensive.
Right.
We need to take the most frugal, which would mean best quality that will last the longest, because those 2 things are going to get used a lot. Anything else on that? All right. Next, we have reaffirm Certified Regional Development Economic Development Agency is Montana Business Assistance Connection. And we have, here's the letter. It was sent to all of us via email. And we have the email explaining why this is done. But before I read this, I am going to read my disclaimer, just for everybody's hearing pleasure. There is no conflict of interest between my volunteer work for Broadwater County and the citizens and my duty as a county commissioner. My involvement with my community is comparable to other county commissioners throughout Montana. I receive no personal monetary gain from working with Broadwater County Development Corp., BCDC, Townsend Area Chamber of Commerce, Auxiliary, Rotary, Montana Board of Crime Control, Youth Justice Council, Area 4 Agency on Aging, County Board of Printing, or any other organization that offers services to the citizens of Broadwater County. I do not own a business or such property. I do not rent or lease any property or assets to any business. The best way to be an effective county commissioner is to be involved. Montana Association of Counties, MACO, has committees that support this work: Economic Development Committee, a Health and Human Services Committee, among others. So does the National Association of Counties. MCA 7-6-2527 and MCA 90-5-112 support commissioners' involvement. My husband is the Executive Director of Montana Business Assistance Connection, MBAC. MBAC is Broadwater County Certified Regional Development Corp., CRDC, and our Federal Economic Development Agency, EDA, and has been since before 2004. In fact, Broadwater County has been involved with and complied with the Public Works and Economic Development Act of 1965. Broadwater County contributes an annual equivalent of $1 million to receive services by both EDA and CRDC, and is required for that assistance. That $1 million equates to less than 3% of MBAC's operating budget. That $1 million is not paid to Brian Obert. MBAC derives its funding from many sources, including EDA, CRDC, interest-bearing revolving loan funds, grants, state contracts, and membership from local businesses and governments, city and county, including Lewis and Clark and Marr counties, Augusta, East Helena, Lincoln, Townsend, and White Sulphur Springs. But the benefits to Broadwater County are far more than the $1 million. There is no conflict of interest. Keep that for the record. Now, Brian's email, this is from the Executive Director of Montana Business Assistance Connection, Brian Obert. Every 4 or 5 years, MBAC needs to reaffirm our contract with the federal government and the state of Montana that MBAC is providing economic development assistance in the region. This time around, both the feds and the state are lining up on top of each other. So I'm again asking that Broadwater County reaffirm your support of our organization, MBAC, as the designated agency that provides economic and community development assistance to Broadwater County and the citizens and businesses within the county. This is both for the State Certified Regional Development Corp. And the Federal Economic Development District designations. And he's attached a letter. I'll give you that too for the record. And any comments, thoughts, or motion?
Well, this is established per a resolution 2003, correct?
That is correct.
I know they've done some good things, and I would say that we should affirm their representation as our economic development
I'll second the motion.
partnership.
It's been moved and seconded to reaffirm MBAC is our CRDC and EDA. Is there any public comment? Public comment. All right. I am recusing myself from the vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And again, I'm recusing myself, but there is no conflict of interest. Thank you. Right, the only other thing I think that I have is a letter I emailed to you guys, I think on Friday, and here's a copy of it. This is with the Montana, the SHPO, so Montana State Historical Preservation Office. This is just a support letter, so it is part of our consent agenda. Basically what this is our support, pledging support, it's support letter for a grant for Bob and Gayanne Mazzola and all the work that they have been doing with SHPO for the Placer School. And I'm going to just read a portion of it. The Mazzolas have been working to preserve the land along with the old schoolhouse for many years. It's a special place, and this past year they also secured a conservation easement for the property to ensure the setting surrounding the school also be protected in future generations. One of the things that they've done is they've been working with Mr. Watson's class at the school, and Mr. Watson has directed and taught his kids how to build windows the way that they did when Placer School was built. It's not something you can find commercially. It's something very unique, and we have already another business that does historically correct spindles and have made quite a successful business of that. That would be Western Spindle. For somebody to take this project and create a career making authentic historic windows would be quite a feather in Mazzola's cap, in Mr. Watson's cap, and in SHPO's cap. This does not pledge the county to any money or obligation. It's just saying we like what they're doing.
So where is the Placer School?
It's,
It's the stone building out right outside of Winston
Is that the one
on the
that
highway.
sits off on the
west
west
side
side
of
of the highway?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
it's not the one you can see though, but
Oh,
that
it's
is,
not?
right. Yeah, that's the stone house.
Okay.
That one
Okay.
is up, if you go beyond Winston,
Up
there's kind of a
over.
cut across road that goes up there to the left.
Oh, okay.
It's up there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like they've been in this project for quite a while. They've done a lot of work.
They have done a lot of work, yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay with the letter of support.
I'm in support of it.
Can I get a motion and a second?
Go ahead, Mike.
I'll make a motion to approve the Placer School grant support letter.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the support letter for the Placer School grant. All those in, any public comment? Public comment. Come on up to the podium, Tim.
How much is the grant that you guys are supporting?
It isn't a county grant, so we don't have that information. We're supporting the project with our support letter.
It's a support letter to support the grant, so how much?
Any other public comment? All right, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. And we'll sign this one, because I don't have the wrong date. Again, to the 2019 versus 2020. I thought that might be an important detail to get right. We'll take comment here in just a minute.
Okay. I just wasn't sure.
Thank you. All right, Wynn, what's your comment?
Madam Chair, it's not really a comment, more of a question. We're for some guidance, I guess. Saturday received a message from a citizen of South of the county advising that somebody is dumping, I think they dumped an appliance, a lawnmower, tried a bunch of other things on Old Town Road. And so that's outside of our solid waste district. But it doesn't sound like it's actually on anybody's property, it sounds like it's on a roadway. So I guess, I don't know, who cleans that up? I guess is the question I'm posing. Maybe you guys might have an answer on who would actually do that. It sounds like it's happening more often, and it's not small things, it's not like garbage, it's those other things that are getting dumped along the side of that road. So just as more of a guidance on what we should tell people or recommend to people, or I just don't know. So I'm asking you guys what's out there that, I mean, I don't have an idea. So it's more of a what do we do type thing. So and since I figured you guys are done with your agenda, but I don't know if our road guys would pick that up. I don't. I don't, you know, they're gonna continue to ask me, and
I would ask you to ask Mary, even though it's outside the solid waste district. She used to work this area with DEQ, solid waste, through DEQ. She would be the most knowledgeable, so I would request that you ask her.
yeah, I mean, I did have the guys go and sort through whatever they could find to see if they could identify maybe somebody that but it sounds like it's getting dumped in the middle of the night when no one's moving around, and somebody's like, hey, yeah, you know, this is nice. Well, we'll look into it, see what we can find, but Deputy Carousel went through it last night, and he said, I can't find anything that would identify to anybody in particular, so I don't know if it's one of our folks up here or down there, or we're coming from Lord knows where, but I just wanted to kind of have a direction on where to go. So I can do that. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, one last thing that we have are minutes from December 30th, 2019.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from December 30th, 2019.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt the minutes from December 30th, 2019. Any public comment? Public comment? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And Mike, I'm going to ask you to sign them since you are listed as the chairperson. I think that's all we have. Did either of you have anything further to add or that you wanted to discuss?
I guess I had a question on the tax bill for the medical clinic next door. Do you want to agenda that item, or do you want to, how do you want to take care of that?
I think we need to wait to hear from Doug.
Yeah.
If he gets any kind of response he can't work with, then we address it. Otherwise, it's done.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything else?
We had a insurance claim for hail damage. It is, myself and Mike Myers went and looked at all these roofs. I don't know how far insurance fraud goes, but it seems to me that these adjusters came around that didn't take a real good look at anything. Out of all the roofs that they said that we had claims on, we could only find one roof that had an issue with it. The Mako people have told us to put the money in an account and save it for whenever something does happen to the roofs. And Mike was still talking to Bonnie to see what we should do with that. That was her advice. We're wondering what the auditor is going to say about putting that money into an account and what we use it for and why it's there. So I guess he's still talking to Bonnie to see what's... To me, it doesn't seem right that they come out and gave us a bunch of estimates on buildings that don't need any work done. I think it's to the tune of almost $400,000. And when you get done with all the work, it's about $800,000. And the quote that we got from them was that you might as well go ahead and put the money in the bank because it's not gonna affect our rates, but it will affect Mako's rates. So if it's affect Mako rates, it affects our rates. If it affects their rates, it affects all the people in the county's rates. So if you got a bunch of adjusters running around giving money away, everybody's insurance rate's going up when they're giving out money they shouldn't even be giving out. So to me, that doesn't seem right, but I don't know what you do with it. So I guess we're gonna leave that up to the auditor and Mako and find out what they say to do with it.
We'll have the auditor here for the exit interview in about a month.
Okay.
So I think that's something we should ask him, and I don't know that it would be a bad idea to have somebody from Mako come here and address it with him, with us, in
Okay.
person. We should have Debbie and Mike both involved in that conversation.
Okay.
That'd be my thinking.
Tim,
Right.
that's all I have.
Okay. Anything from you, Darrell?
No.
All right. Tim, do you have a comment?
On this particular issue, this is under the purview of Mr. Rosendale with the auditor's office. I would highly recommend that you have that, maybe referred to his office to have him look into that, because it's fleecing the citizens, no matter which way you look at it, from my perspective and my understanding of how that works.
Okay, any other public comment before we adjourn? All right. Come on up to the podium. You've created a monster with that podium, Darrell.
We should move it to the center. I sent that email to you guys on that MOU, so you guys should have that already for the dispatch console. I don't, like I said, I don't have all the details about it because Brandon was gone, but the other one, I did want to let you guys know on, last year in June, we ordered cars. We ordered those Tahoes, and with GM's strike that had occurred, they'll push those out from their build date. So they're being built right now versus they should have already been here and on the road, and they're currently being built. They got pushed out 90 days because of that. Just want to let you guys know that's why that money is still sitting in that account, is because those vehicles haven't been built yet. The other thing that, since we are going through the process of the insurance stuff with Julie over there at Centennial, there is a dog plan as well. And so there's like an insurance on those animals. And so I haven't looked at it yet, but it's their assets basically they kind of, not necessarily under pets, but they're not definitely defined as a solid item either. But they were on there, and there's just a different component to it. So I was looking at that as well. And that's for those things that obviously somebody shoots, stabs, or hits the dog, that covers that cost. So I'm trying to think what else there was. It was kind of just FYI stuff. I might be missing it. So I just wanted to kind of give you a heads up on those couple things. So in that email in regards to him, will you please look it over, get any questions, ideas or whatever, comments, let me know, and we'll get that addressed. So, okay, that's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, last chance. We're adjourned. It's 11:30.